This episode of Out of Spec Reviews is brought to you by Magna. More on that later.
Welcome back to Out of Spec Reviews. This is Kyle's Model 3 that you all know and love, theoretically, and it's seen a lot of life. We have a whole series essentially on what this car has been through over the last 100-something thousand miles. And Kyle's already done like a brief overview of the exterior interior quality, but I'm doing kind of a deep dive because I'm doing a cleaning, 100,000 mile cleaning. In this case, about 107,000 miles. And in some parts, it almost felt like it hasn't been cleaned since it was new. I did actually do sort of a detail about 30,000 miles ago when I first met the car, more or less. But we're gonna do a deeper dive and do kind of a deeper examination of what actual cosmetic flaws are on this car. I'm not doing like a thorough like how to clean your Model 3. Tesla has their own stuff on that, and there's actually really good YouTube videos on how to like really clean a Model 3. But I will touch on things as I go. So let's get her done. So before I get started with the whole detail spray and such, we're gonna rewind like an hour because me and Tijmen just actually took this to the car wash, did a hand wash more or less, not like hand, but like what do you call it? Self-service, that's the word. So took a self-service car wash, vacuum. So let's cut to some B-roll of that and then we'll come back and detail this thing. So, looks a lot better than it did before we washed it. And actually these wheels are really cool. They're not the wheels it actually came on. More or less they are. These are just the newer, darker ones. It came on silver version of these performance wheels because this is a performance Model 3. So yeah, I'm literally just going to start spraying it down. I've got some detail spray and we'll hit the glass. And I guess now that it is clean, we can see a lot better of what kind of issues there are. The very, very obvious one, the elephant in the room, is this huge crack on the front windshield, which started small and just got bigger, as they do. There's also a crack up here that you might be able to see, and that's definitely gotten bigger. Oh geez, yeah, it's spiderweb kind of all over the place. So definitely some issues there. And the roof rack is now off, and there is some like paint protection film kind of left from where that was sitting. It's just like a, what do they call it? Like a 5-foot, 10-foot paint job. Like from this far away, you really can't see that many issues. But when you get up close is where they all are. Just various rock chips, definitely more peeling down underneath here, which you can't usually see as well. Like in general, it's pretty good, but you know, 100,000 miles of driving, which often included track driving and around the country. I mean, Kyle just put out his video on all the superchargers he hit, like basically charging all around the country. What was it, like 260 some superchargers? Ridiculous, everywhere. But yeah, just going to start spraying it down. Tijmen mentioned this looks dirty. It's like clean. Like I just cleaned these properly too. It's just stained, but it's clean. But I'm making do with what I have here, and I'm gonna get this as shiny as possible. So I won't bore you to death, but I will basically detail the whole exterior really quick, and then we'll maybe show a time lapse or something, and then we'll jump in the interior where you can see even more wear and tear. All right, so we got it nice and wiped down. I don't know if I can say detailed because you really need clay bar and paint correction to really do everything on this car. But we did as much as we could, at least on the body panels. That's what I wanted to look at. Yeah, so you can really see I guess the clear bra more or less saved the front bumper because there's a lot of imperfections in the clear PPF itself. These are actually like yellow flecks. I think they might be from paint or something. They do come off if you scrape hard enough. But yeah, down here it's just completely bubbled and chipped away. But it seems like the bumper underneath is pretty much fine. That'd be really interesting to have like redone essentially. So you can see a little bit of panel misalignment there. The chrome is just not wearing super well, and you can see kind of where the mirror folds in and out. That's just like permanently there. I mean, a lot of this stuff could really be addressed with like a really, really hardcore paint correction and restoration. But from just a home detail, it's about as good as it's gonna get. Around this side, this is probably, I guess you'd say, the better side of the car. It looks really good, honestly, as a whole. Again, there's the parts up here where the roof rack connected, which was protected, so should be fine. And yep, pretty much fine back here. The spoiler is lifting up a little bit over here, like Kyle mentioned before. It doesn't feel very good. Let's see, that's, yeah, a little bit more nicks in the paint, mostly from trunk wear and tear, use of the trunk. This panel does not actually, it's charging right now, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. This doesn't actually close and line up. We'll show you that later. Kyle did hit it, yeah, that's while it was open, so that just happens. This also isn't like perfectly lined up. I think Kyle mentioned this had to be redone or something, but it's not perfect. This is probably the worst like dent on this side, and there's definitely, oh, down here, yeah, a lot of like swirls and marks in the paint, like deep swirls. And then I guess you can show the lower rocker panels. That is like, I mean, that's gonna take something we just don't have the capacity to clean. Like, yeah, full clay bar restoration type situation. A few more nicks in the chrome, but honestly, genuinely impressed. A couple scratches, and yeah, the glass obviously, which we haven't like fully wiped down the glass yet, but that's the glaring issue at the moment. But I mean, taking a step back, and I know our original walk around video was at night, so now that you can see it kind of in daylight, looks really good for a 100,000 mile car. It actually looks better than my personal car, which only has 75,000 miles. And part of that, honestly, is due to he has paint protection film, I didn't, and rock chips have eaten away at the paint enough on my car to where it's really bad. And my car's white, so rock chips mean black specks everywhere. So yeah, that's the exterior. Let's do some interior cleaning and see how it cleans up, especially the white, the infamous white seats.
This episode is proudly brought to you by Magna. Magna is a mobility technology company that is super unique because they touch every aspect of almost every car in the market, especially a lot of electric vehicles, and they even can produce vehicles from the ground up. Now, you may remember I shot a series just recently testing some of their new electric vehicle powertrains, so stay tuned for a lot of Magna content to come. We're going to be going in depth with some really interesting topics with these guys, and Out of Spec wants to thank Magna for sponsoring this review and tons of other videos to come right here on Out of Spec. We look forward to working with Magna to define and find out what the future of mobility looks like.
So taking a step on the inside, I have actually spent a little bit of time on this already before I knew we were filming a video on it. So I haven't done any like heavy cleaning, but just an initial wipe down with a wet cloth. And that's how good the seats look from just that. But what we're going to try now is the trick of the trade, I guess, the Dawn dish soap with just a microfiber cloth, and see how well it cleans them up. Because, as you know, this car has been used extensively, especially as a dog carrier, and so dogs leave marks everywhere. And we're going to see how well these white seats clean up. This is everyone's big question, you know, how well does the white interior hold up over time? That's the big question we all have. Let's find out. Really quick though, I wanted to point out in the control panel here, we'll clean the screen in a second, but there's an actual mode for that, which is, yeah, display and then screen clean mode, which is super cool. And then basically it prevents you from adding any accidental input while you're cleaning the screen. And then also there's a car wash mode, which we can't select right now because we're charging, giving Tijmen some juice to get back home. But car wash mode basically locks the car, rolls up the windows, turns off Sentry mode, turns off all the sensors, and turns off the auto wipers. It basically, you know, gets it ready for a car wash, whether it's automatic or self-service. And if it is one of those automatic ones with the rolling system, you can basically put it in neutral, or it even has a like rolling mode. So pretty cool that that's all thought of. But yeah, we're going to give it a clean. We got the interior wiped down nice and clean for the most part. The Dawn dish soap thing really does do wonders on the seats. The seats are white once again. I'm not going to say they're showroom white, but remarkably white compared to the 100,000 miles on the car. And yeah, everything really cleans up fairly easily. There is some minor scuffs on the door cards here. They might need to be replaced to get them fully back to life, but that's just from dogs, you know, Kyle, Alyssa, everyone seems to love dogs, and they throw dogs in the back of the car and it works, but that's an issue. Of course, simplistic interiors, which the Tesla is known for, can be good or bad. Some people are like, oh, it's too simplistic and boring, but that makes for easy cleaning. And so all the dog slobber on the glass and everything easily wiped up, vacuumed it out really nicely. One challenging thing is dog hair in any car really, but in the Tesla, hair gets up in the headliner, and then using a combination of like a lint roller and one of those as seen on TV rollers, like it took me a time and a while to get that all out, and there still is probably a few hairs here and there. Let's move up front really quick, and also really good quality as far as how it held up. Of course, the steering wheel is like flawless, but that's a Kyle Connor car. He's very proud of his steering wheel care. And really just doesn't want anyone or himself to drive it with greasy fingers. And that's how it keeps its natural sheen. Glass cleans up really well. We use the glass cleaning mode, of course. And then, yeah, even though this is an early Model 3, well, not early, but you know, middle Model 3 with all the piano black, still cleans up like new, more or less. And let's just say we have never babied this car. So honestly, it cleans up really well for the age. And a little bit of stain up in the headliner, but that can be taken out with like a specialty, like almost like a carpet cleaning solution. I just don't have that with me. So from what I have, like literally a basic bare bones home detailing, it really came out quite nice. A little bit of fraying up in the soundboard mesh and scratches on here. You know, scratches do happen. That's just plastic and dogs and tools. And I mean, this has literally been a workhorse car for the 100,000 miles. One of the major things on the inside were the seat controls over here, which I think you said was damaged by a water bottle being left there maybe, and the door closed on it. Yeah. So that's, you know, damage. A couple punctures every so often in the leather. But otherwise the leather is holding up really well. I think it is vegan leather, pleather, whatever you want to call it, but it's a really high quality one. I mean, the seats still feel really nice. But yeah, plastics, they take a beating. They've been kicked. Things have been thrown around, you know, by force or by being in the car during a track session. That all happens. But yeah, honestly, let's wrap it up. Got it cleaned up nicely, just in time for the beautiful Colorado sunset over there. And yeah, like I said, I'm impressed. If someone had told me this had 100,000 miles, I would have expected like worse as far as the wear and tear. And really, I mean, what I've learned is I think I'll probably look into paint protection film in my future car. And I think Tijmen mentioned it was ceramic tinted, which prevented, you know, sun damage. So that could have been something that we could have seen. But the glass is really pitted to death from rocks. So we tried to clean it as best as we could. Obviously, it needs a new pane of glass anyways. But yeah. I mean, let us know what you guys think. Is this worse than you expected, better than you expected? I mean, it's lived a long life. So as a whole, I'd say most damage was due to either dogs or stuff we did. I think if you are someone who really babies your car, it would be even cleaner than this, which is something to be said about the build quality. I know Tesla and build quality don't usually go in the same sentence together in a happy way, but I think it works out well. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.